So in today's video, we're going to round up the most prominent portable 88-note digital piano options out there and give you the pros and cons for each. Then, if you want to dig even further, we've done individual reviews and comparisons on almost all of the instruments we're about to talk about. Here's what we're going to be covering: the PXS from Casio, the FP and RD from Roland, the ES from Kawai, and the P Series and K Series from Yamaha. Please stick around to the end of the video because we're going to put up our scores of all of these series so you can compare them a little more specifically on the screen. Let's start with Roland's FP Series. Now there are 5 models in this series: the FP10, 30X, 60X, 90X, and the newly arrived FPE50. And while the FPE50 has a slightly different focus, generally speaking, this line delivers the following. I consider Roland's FP line to be quite possibly one of the best well-rounded lines in the entire industry. And when it comes to the piano action, I'd say it's right at the top of the game. It's got a nice, robust experience when it comes to acoustic piano simulation, but it also has really high quality voices once you get into the e-pianos, pads, strings, and other categories. It's got great connectivity in the form of both outbound 1/4-inch output as well as Bluetooth audio in and Bluetooth MIDI out. Its companion app adds some nice robust expansion in the form of auto accompaniment and the piano designer, and the onboard speaker performance is punchy, it's robust, it's full, and virtually eliminates the need to have any other external monitors in most situations. Plus, the matching stand and pedals means that this can be used portably or permanently in a home, and the aesthetic considerations are such that it's going to look quite appropriate in virtually all settings, even living rooms. For people who know that their piano experience is important, but they want a nice range of other features to go along with that to really extract the full experience, the FP line is perfect. Next from Roland, the RD Series. Now this is a stage piano line with less emphasis on the acoustic piano experience and home connectivity options and aesthetics, and much more emphasis placed on the range of sound options as well as editability of the effects and presets. Whereas most of the FPs have 200 to 300 sounds, once you get into the RDs, it's now into the thousands of sounds. And this is really geared towards people who need to build very specific presets with splits, layers, and particular use of certain effects. The onboard speakers aren't quite as high quality as what you get on the FP series, although they're still quite functional. For a very high level of flexibility when it comes to both tones and setups, with what I would describe as the most robust action in a stage piano on this list, the RD series is a great consideration. Next is the Casio PXS Series, starting with the 1100, then moving up to the 3100, and then finally the last 3 set of 5000, 6000, and 7000. This line has emphasized compactness, top-notch aesthetics, portability and battery operation, and a very high-quality core piano sample. I know people who have gone with this line strictly because it looked so unique and so sophisticated. But outside of that, Casio really does take a very different approach, both in how their instruments operate, plus how they try and engage the player through different categorizations and selection options for how to get to those piano sounds and e-piano sounds that they recognize and know so well. For people who are more contemporary piano players and not trying to do hardcore classical, the upper range of the Casio PXS series, I think, is phenomenally fun and enjoyable. And the 3100 and 6000, although it's buried between the 5000 and 7000, really are incredibly capable stage pianos in disguise. Next up, Kawai's ES Series. Although they tend to be slightly more expensive than the average, the Kawai ES focus is entirely about giving the best portable acoustic piano experience possible. This is all about onboard speaker performance, lush acoustic piano samples that cover both mid-size grands, full-size grands, as well as uprights, and a fantastic action experience. Don't look for your ES Series to give you the same breadth and quality of non-piano sound choice, such as what you would get on the Roland RD Series or the Casios, but if you know that 95% of the time you're going to be playing acoustic piano or e-piano, and particularly if your preference is to have a really nice, robust, high-quality sound experience out of your onboard speakers, the Kawai ESs simply can't be beat. And then finally, Yamaha's offering with their P Series and their K Series. Now, Yamaha's P Series is a long-standing product line that currently has two entrants on it, the P225 and the 525. Now, while the 525 does have a couple of high-quality piano samples on board, I would say generally this line has been focused on the delivery of value with a quality build. When you look at the price of both of these instruments and consider that they're offering things such as USB audio interface, onboard accompaniment, above average speaker performance, and connectivity with Yamaha's companion apps, value really is the name of the game. And then finally, to their newer CK Series, which really is Yamaha's direct answer to Roland's RD88. It offers 3-zone control with hundreds of onboard sounds to choose from, a very attractive interface in which to operate and build all of your various presets, as well as probably the best organ emulator of any of the machines we've discussed. So for piano players really looking for a strong piano, organ, and Rhodes combination, and particularly if you are in need of battery operation, the Yamaha's KC is certainly worth your consideration. Now, there's a few honorable mentions that I didn't mention on this list from the 4 manufacturers, and some people might be thinking to themselves, well, what about this one or that one? And they would be Casio's PX560, Roland's Juno DS88, Kawai's MP Series, or Roland's Phantom 08. Now, when it comes to the Casio, this is simply a matter of focus and really seeing where Casio's trending. I happen to think that the PX560 was a pretty robust instrument with a lot of great features, but it's using old design language, an interface that Casio doesn't seem to be really focusing on with new products anymore, and they seem to be trying to blend their stage and home piano experience into a single approach, such as the PXS 6000 versus 7000. And when it comes to Roland's Juno DS88, much of the same comments apply as well. They've moved really heavily towards their Zencore synthesis engine. The DS88 doesn't have that integrated. It's using an older key action and really is focused on people who are going to be doing a little bit more composition and playing around with sequencing than necessarily using it strictly in live settings or at home for piano playing. Additionally, every instrument that we've put on this list otherwise has onboard speakers, which to me is a really critical component for the versatility that we're talking about for this overall category. So now that we've made it to the end of our list, here's how we've scored them. My name is Stu Harrison. This has been Merriam Pianos on YouTube, and we'll see you again soon.